Oh, bright and shiny landfill, oh, bright and shiny landfill, oh, bright and shiny landfill. For thus we trashed the earth. But there it was in the shops, already manufactured, $15. 25 watts. So yeah, I bought one. And they said that it was designed to operate in a room 21 to 25 degrees temperature. And it takes 4 hours to melt the wax for the very first time. And as soon as the fire went out at night, the first night, it all stopped happening. It stopped being a thing, which was quite disappointing. Second night, more or less the same thing happened. So last night I left it on all night. And this is the most lava lampish that it has done since I bought the thing. And it's taken 12 hours at 25 watts to get to this. And I've had to wrap a sock around the base. In order to get the wax up to 45 degrees or so, and the fluid up to the same sort of temperature, so that it will actually operate. So I think this particular lava lamp is bordering on being a dud, but you know, for $15 brand new in the shop, what more could one expect? Anyway, that's it. At 20 to 11 Eastern Daylight Saving of the time, we'll come back later and see if anything interesting has happened. 5 past 11. However, sadly, a loose connection in the nest of wires, which has to be physically rerouted. See the possibility for misconnections? In order that the phone camera, which is actually reach the spot. As I was saying, the short circuit meant that for about 5 or 10 minutes, 10 minutes ago, there was no power coming into the hut, and that whole thermal bubble collapsed. So I restored power to the situation about 8 minutes ago, perhaps 10 minutes ago. But there was, 5 minutes of a failure in the convection system. The wax is quite liquid at the bottom, but it seems the hot wax is having difficulty breaking through a cap of cooler congealed wax on top of it. I think really the only way to get this thing running might be to light the bloody fire and heat the outside air up, so that you got less heat loss out through the column of glass enclosing lightly dyed water, I think. Not entirely certain whether it's going to show up on camera, but there are sort of bubbles of different density floating in the hot yellow wax. And I'm thinking temperature might be reflective of density, which might be reflected or illustrated by the colour. But something's going on. One hand. Going back camera mount while simultaneously putting tension on the wires so as to maintain power feed to the camera. Ah, life in a multitasking universe. Anyway, we will return. That the only other trick I've contrived to do is to sort of grab a hold of it by the base and wriggle the thing in a spiral and try and induce a circular flow in the tower. Not sure what it achieves, but I figured that any disturbance might be helpful. Distinct layering of temperature zones in there at the moment. Yeah, I think it's faintly possible that my inverter's not quite supplying enough current to the bulb, or it's also faintly possible that the bulb is not quite the right temperature gradient. Or maybe they were just having a bad day at the factory when they mixed this particular lot of wax. But it's the kind of lava lamp you have when you've got a howling fire going. Apparently. Because temperature right now, 24.4, which according to the operator's manual is just under the upper operating limit that this lamp's designed to operate in. And according to that, it should have only taken 4 or 5 hours to start doing its lava lampy thing, which is supposed to yield a result looking something like that, rather than this, which is what we've got. 22 past 11. We have an infiltration on both sides between the glass and the hot wax, and we have circulating hot and cold spots. So something's going on. 29, 30 degrees there. On the wall, 26. On the ceiling, 30. 24.4. On the outside of the sock, 33. So I think it's looking for 50 degrees. I might be wrong, but I think that's what's going on. 5 minutes on, it's all gone asymmetric. Wax is sticking to the glass on the right hand side, moving further away on the left hand side, presumably allowing the water coolant to come down into the hot zone, whereupon it's going to heat up and run back up across the outside of the wax and warm it from both sides. I don't know quite what the intention is with these things, never having had one before. "18 minutes to midday daylight saving time, and the blob hath grown." Apparently the tower's leaning to one side slightly, by the look of that. Not entirely certain, but I think that makes it slightly more vertical, and yeah, it's causing changes and things to happen. Right, shiny landfill.